Good afternoon. It's an honor to be with you. I speak representing my partner, Andres Tuani, who's here, and many friends in Miami, where Vincent Tappy had a home for some 20 years. Vincent Scully represents an era, a time in modern architecture that, influenced by his teaching and writing, sought reconnection with historic glories. Confronting a building in the classroom with drama and urgency, as Michael Lewis put it, one of many recent articles about Vince. Confronting a building in the classroom had the effect of making all architecture contemporary. Vince taught us to value all that was good in architecture, eschewing ideology, a gift allowing us to appreciate the world around us with freedom, unfettered by ideology, for which we are grateful. And the conviction that past and present are one has guided generations of his students. It's important to review the Scully era. In the future, it may be seen very differently than our experience of it. Already, sometimes, it is misrepresented as cosmetic fantasy. He might exhort us all to make a record of this time from our own experiences to keep this record straight, that others may not skew the perspective. For many here today, it is not an exaggeration to say, if not for Vince, we would not be doing what we do. As students, we understood his historical benchmarks and imagined our own work having a life between the achievements of our predecessors and a future that would support continuity. And we assimilated his principles of civic responsibility in preservation and urban engagements. Scully's own such engagements ricochet still today. In still remembered critiques of development in Miami, I'm still hearing about them, and the renewed impetus for the revival of New York's Pennsylvania Station, which is also still an ongoing discussion. Many have said that Professor Scully changed the course of American architecture. Indeed, the breadth of his audience and his influence on the built environment brought wide recognition, much of it from beyond his home in academia, even from the real estate development industry. Consider his award from the Urban Land Institute in 2003, the J.C. Nichols Prize for Visionaries in Urban Development. What other academic can claim honors from such a quarter? For Andres and I, the Scully era had two phases. The first, as students and young architects trying to imagine that we were part of the historical continuum. We still remember vividly the intellectual awakening and excitement of the Scully lectures. From those emerged our interest in the whole of American architecture, not just in public buildings and monuments, but in the American house and the American community. This was the foundation for the movement called the New Urbanism, and the assessment that it was time to recover the beauty and good sense of American settlements. It also encouraged the traditional and classical architecture revival that thrives across the world today. The second phase began when Vincent Tappy joined us as colleagues at the University of Miami. They were a team. He taught his favorite courses, and she taught American architecture and preservation. They came to love the Florida vernacular, including the modest and dignified early ranch houses, one of which they chose to inhabit. Vince loved our affinity with the Caribbean, and he encouraged us to emphasize that distinction. Vincent Tappy truly adopted our school, giving impetus to the faculty and students to seek a regional identity. The success in doing so is chronicled by them in the book Between Two Towers and is evident in numerous ensuing faculty publications and buildings. We remember with happiness those special years in Miami. We are grateful to have known Vince's creative intellect, generosity and mentoring, principled passion, a mischievous sense of humor, and above all, his loyal friendship. And dearest Tappy, we look forward to your return to Miami.